Committee meeting to order. I have Representative Smith here today. Okay, the first thing on the agenda is the minutes for October 16th, 2024. Sure everybody got a chance to look and move that. Next, reports, financial reports.
Yeah. There you go, thank you. Anybody else need one?
Will you please silence your cell phones? Thank you.
Okay, first thing in the packet are the cash balances as of October month end. General fund was 404,000, utility fund 97,000, so there was a little bit more cash in both of those funds. But first part of November, a lot of that was used to pay some of the past due and some of the vendor invoices. And as I've said in the past, the cash balances are still an issue with the city, and we just need to make sure that spending's kept at a minimum, and we're watching. Okay.
Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Mr. Duncan he's in control of the light situation. So, everybody good? Thank you so much, Mr.
Okay. Utility fund this month, or the past month, October, had collected $335,000, which is higher than it was, but it's lower than it's been the last few months. You've seen about $400,000 collected for the past 3 months, so it was a tad lower. We did roll to property taxes on October 24th. Accounts that were 90-plus days old, and that was about $350,000 that got rolled, past due accounts that got rolled to taxes.
Can you repeat that one more time for us?
On October 24th, we rolled to the county utility bills that were 90-plus days old. And that totaled $350,000 that was sent to taxes. Those tax bills will be coming out December 1st. We committed taxes today, so they're now getting printed and will be mailed to be out by December 1st. One item, larger item that was received in the month of October in the general fund it's called the LCSA money from the state of Michigan. It's called the Local Community Stabilization Act. And it's money that the state gives municipalities because of the loss of personal property taxes. And this month to the general fund, it was $214,000 received in October. And typically, you will get another receipt about 200-ish in May timeframe next year. Okay, next slide then. And this is just, again, I leave it in here, just the definition of what each fund is, in case someone's new and wants to know where the money comes for each of the funds. And then the next slide just shows the results through October. One of the things that general funds revenue as of October 31st is quite a bit higher than last year at this time. Last year it was $1,000,009. This year it's $3,000,008 as far as revenue goes, and that's because your property tax was split last year. You got half of it in the summer months through September, and then you got the other half the first part of the year. So that's just a timing issue compared to last year. And the other thing that was a little different compared to last year is the local road fund shows that it's negative by quite a bit. The expenditures exceed revenue, and that's because you have a project going now for Jefferson Street resurfacing. And that project was partially funded by the state of Michigan and partially funded by the city, the road funds that you receive. And then the rest of the report is just the balances in the ARPA, which haven't changed. And then there's quite a bit of activity going on in the sewer, sanitary sewer project, and then in the water plant and distribution system. Those projects are still going out, but they're 100% funded by the state of Michigan and the federal government. And then the rest of the report is just the detail by department, by fund. If anybody wants to look at the detail and has any questions, they can get a hold of me.
I have one question. Like the past due utility balance, they goes to the taxes, right? Now, when that payment, it goes on their taxes, do that zero them out to the city? And they start,
Yeah, the balance that's past due, and it's usually in the 90 day, 180 day, it's in the buckets that are old. They still have a balance that's relatively current, but if they're delinquent over 90 days, that part gets zeroed out in the city system, but it rolls into the tax bill. So then I see collections, and as collections come in from residents, it points to the fact that they're paying a utility bill, and then I know to reimburse the utility fund for that money. So the money gets paid in through property taxes, but then I take that money and I transfer it to the utility fund. So the utility fund ends up getting it even though it's zeroed out, but it gets sent back to you through taxes.
any questions on financials? Commissioner Henry?
I just wanted to know what other, was attached, expense was attached to the special assessment. You said it was utilities,
Water, sewer, whoever has a delinquent utility bill, it's the whole bill, the water, the sewer, the trash.
okay, so.
And And there are some mowing, from the code compliance. Not much in the rental. There are just a few rentals that were past due. So bulk of it was for the mowing assessments. It was small compared to utilities, though, small amount.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Time?
Is this point of this clarification understanding? At one time, you were working for the company Plant Moran, and you was employee with Plant Moran. Are you now an employee of the city, and therefore holding the title or appointment by the city as a finance director, or are you a consultant working for Plant?
Point of order. Man, we talking about the financials right now.
Well, not financial, because I need to know where the report is coming from the company of Plant Moran or from the city's finance director. I don't know that.
This is the Ben Harbor City financials. and Ron is in charge of the financial.
As an employee of the city.
She's contracted by the city.
Okay, so therefore she's a consultant, because that affects her pay. If we're paying for a finance director, that's different from paying from the consultant firm. Oh, okay, that helps know. I was just wanting to be, because we are personal finance, in terms of our financial costs, that if we're paying for a finance director, that's one cost. If we're paying for a consulting firm, that's a different cost. And so that that's what the point of clarification is, because that expense should be kind of reflected. If she's working for the city as a finance director, or she's working as a consultant, because if she's working as an individual, then that's something different. So that's what I wanted the clarification on where the report was coming from the consulting firm or from the finance director as a city employee.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman, I believe the
Go ahead,
question.
City Manager.
I believe the question's been answered. Is there some other part to that or something?
What was the answer?
The
That
question's been
she's
answered.
under contract.
With city, yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Kennard.
I'd like to know who's paying her salary.
You got to, for the YouTube to get you, you need to come up.
I'd like to know who's paying her salary.
The city
Go ahead, City
contract
Manager.
is with Plant Moran, and Plant Moran pays her salary.
So in other words, she's actually working for the Plant Moran.
Contracted to the city, yes.
This is not making a connection.
It's the exact same as Avonmarsh. Jason Marquardt works for Avonmarsh, carries out the functions that are assigned to him. It's identical.
This is handling the city's finances. Amherst is not handling the city's finances.
Oh, yes, they are, about 40 million worth.
Did you tell him to speak?
Go ahead.
Or is it Ms. Kennard?
Go ahead and finish your question, Ms. Kennard.
The point is that this is regarding the city's finances. There's always so many excuses. Now, you paying 2 to 3 times as much for the consulting firm as you would for a finance director. So I'm just trying to figure out, how does this make sense?
We just gave you the answer.
It don't
City
make
Ma-
sense though.
well,
Why would you pay more
apologize.
for something when you
And
have-
we will be looking for a finance director. Thank you.
That's what you've been saying for years.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard. Commissioner Kennard. Commissioner Adams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm not gonna pick up exactly where she left off, but I wanted to touch base on some things. Because I think sometimes some people just take things for granted. Moving forward, whether we're dealing with Plant Moran or anybody else that's taking care of city finances and other endeavors. If we could put a date on some things when reporting out, especially large sums of money just come through, because I hear a lot of things about reporting of what's going on, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Nationally, we just experienced it. And just to make it clearer to locals, since all elections and everything that is starts locally. When I sit over there as a sitting commissioner, a lot of the things that the city is enduring right now with all the development and stuff that's going on, I was a part of those decisions. And now they're coming to fruition. Very little has been made since then. Okay, and that's been several years ago that some of these decisions were made by this body as a whole. And it may be some that voted against some of the things. We have nationally someone that can brag about what they've done when they came into office. They rode the tail of somebody else that had set things in a better standing, and it's about to happen again. There's some things going on financially that I think that things like that should be reported out. And to touch base on not specifically what Ms. Kennard just stated, I'm hoping that this coming year, because if it's not more noise than what you hear from Ms. Kennard is going to be made, as it relates to the City of Benton Harbor Finance Director that reports at every meeting that this commission, elected officials have to report directly to their bosses when they have questions. And it includes even afterwards, if they have, get something in an email that they have a question to, that they're allowed by charter to call and get the questions answered prior to meetings that make the meetings go shorter. I heard something that was very disturbing about the last gentleman that was here in the finance position, that every last one of us commissioners know was not able to do his job for the simple fact that he was not given what he needed to log into what he needed to get things done.
Well, point of order. We
Uh-huh.
talking about the financials.
And we're
That's
talking
what-
about
that's what we're
finances.
Can you
We're talking
stay
about
with
finances.
that, please?
You're wasting time. Okay, hold on. I just think it's very disheartening when a person isn't here to speak for themselves. I'm gonna start showing up more often though. Touch base on some stuff right then and there.
Honorable Chair,
We haven't gotten there yet, but I'm gonna say it now so it can be addressed, and I don't have to come back up. I also heard something as it relates to the income tax. That you, yourself, Chairman Isom, I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago, touched base and asked the administrator, about the taxes and the people that were working within the community with all these large sums of money. And per federal government, they're supposed to pay a specific amount of hiring to local minorities. Hasn't been happening, but somebody has not been keeping up with. Somebody has been lacking somewhere because somebody has not been, a lot of people that have been working in our community. Money's been coming through here, people making millions of dollars and riding hitting the highway with it. But every time somebody comes up with an idea to add to the tax base in the form of development, it's fought against, when money is what we need to survive, to allow better services, to do more hiring. I mean, at some point, where's the accountability? And the transparency? Moving forward, ooh, we're in trouble if we don't start changing some things, but I'm hoping that that's about to happen, specifically with our finances. And this is nothing personal. I think Ms. Rhonda does what she does very well. I remember a time when I used to go to Ms. Rhonda and get my questions answered, sit in the office and go over some things so that the meetings wasn't as long. Per charter states that. Now, at some point, there's going to be an attorney that's going to come through here and fix all of this stuff that's breaking the charter.
Commissioner Adams.
No, I'm not finished.
People a chance to speak.
We put forth a resolution to hire our own firm, if a firm is what we wanted, instead of a finance director with a CPA.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Griffin.
Okay. So just to piggyback off what Dr. Time said and Commissioner Kennard, the question was asked, does Miss Rhonda Hillband, do she work for the city or Plant Moran? Now, I heard you say that she was contracted to the city, but what Mr. Litter said totally was different. And when I asked for information before about a agreement or a contract, I was told that she was contracted through Moran, which means that she works for Plant Moran. She's not contracted through the city. So for clarity, especially for the residents, because we supposed to be transparent with the residents, through the chair, can the city clerk or whoever else speak?
City manager, you speak on this, please.
Since the city commission approved the contract, could we move on with what we're here for? And I'll just send a copy of the contract that was
Point
approved
of
by the
order.
commission to every commissioner?
He don't tell me what to do.
The question,
And I want a short answer, short, precise. Is she contracted through Plant Moran or the city? Does she work for Plant Moran or the city?
city manager, we just,
The city has a contract with Plant and Moran that provides for the service that Ms. Hildebrand
Thank you.
provides to us.
So the reason I was asking, Honorable Chair,
keep some order in here, okay?
but you may be able to help me. The reason I did is that she's been listed as the finance director, but I wasn't able to track, is she under salary and wages or professional services? So I wasn't able to do my bookkeeping in terms of tracking what we're paying for her. So as a person in finance, in terms of finance, I'm not able to track how she's being paid by us or Plant Moran. I'm just asking you the question. So is it under salary and wages, or is it under professional services?
Go ahead, Rhonda.
It's under professional services in the finance department. And we had full-blown budget sheets that were handed out during budget time that gave you the full detail, which I can still send you. I gave you summaries, but there is professional services in the finance department for paying for my services through Plant Moran. And it's been budgeted.
But there's some 0 per professional services, so saying that you're not getting paid.
Pardon me?
There are additions here under that professional services where there's 0 money coming out, saying that you're not being paid if you're under professional services. But the point is, I'm willing to move on. I was just not clear in how to track the money expenditure to Plant Moran or to the finance director, and that's one of our due diligence, our obligations. That's all I was asking, how do I track the money when it comes to her services?
It's in Department 253, and it's under professional services. That's the category where payment for my services is. Page 2 of the financials. Actually, I've got different page numbers, but probably page 8 of what you have. 7. There's a category called professional services under the finance department. Originally in the budget for this year, we had budgeted 6 months, I think, of my services and 6 months of having a finance director.
Okay, so that's finance department on page 7, correct?
Yes.
You gotta come up to the, okay, you gotta come up. Okay, just one second. But she,
So I'd like to know, like the finance director does she track everything that comes in and that goes out? Is that a part of her duty as a finance director, that is and it should be documentation of it?
it's, you, it's in front of you, Miss. Go, Ron, could you
I'm-
answer?
what I'm
Go, okay,
saying-
go ahead.
And all her time, everything that comes in and everything that goes out, and it's documented who, it's invoices for everything that is done.
Rhonda, could you answer?
I don't generate all the invoices. I mean, part of the money that comes in are property taxes. I make sure that what comes in gets recorded properly. I make sure that whoever needs to be paid out of property taxes is paid properly from the property tax receipts, any kind of grant money that comes in. I track not only the money coming in to make sure it's right, but I'm the one that compiles all the data to send them invoices, cleared checks, whatever they require to reimburse the city for any money that you're spending on these grants. I don't generate everything, but I see it at some point. And I keep track of it and make sure it's all going in the correct buckets within your financial system. I watch the bank reconciliations, the people that collect your cash and deposit your money. I do the bank reconciliations to make sure that what they've recorded in your financial system agrees to what the bank statement says every single month. Right now, I'm in the middle of the audit, and I'm presenting to the auditors your financial statements, showing them that everybody you've billed, if they haven't collected it, I show them that. If it's been collected, I show how it's been collected by receipts, how it gets into the bank, and where it shows up on the bank statement. So I work transactions through in detail with the auditors to prove that the city is keeping track of all your ins and outs properly.
So in other words, the years that you've been working here has been in place of the finance director, and you have records of those years.
I've been here 9 years, and I have not only, I do more than just a finance director. I do a lot of your entries into your accounting system, the reconciliations that you prove to the auditors that your books are being kept right. Finance director, some of them don't do that. They have staff that do it, but you're short-staffed, so that's the thing I do as well.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard. Come on, we're gonna finish, so go ahead, Ms. Winslet? Wisnet.
Hi, good afternoon. You said that you're paid 6 months contract and 6 months under the finance?
No, we were budgeted that way. We had intended to bring in a finance director, and I was going to train for 6 months and then ease out. So the finance director could do the responsibilities that I do right now.
So what happened? So,
There's nobody here to do what I do. If there was, I could teach them what I do and hand off some of the roles that I fill.
but that's not a position that you hand off. That's a position that you posted and people apply for it?
Yeah, we got a posting out for it now.
Okay. I think the finance director is very important because when I worked for the city of Benton Harbor, the issue I had is I paid insurance for 6 months. Had no insurance, but it was deducted from my check. So I think the financial director is very important. I don't think it should be a consultant. Are you a CPA or your degrees in accounting?
I have my CPA in the state of Indiana, yes.
Indiana, not Michigan?
Right.
Okay.
But it's the same certificate, just a different state.
Well, it's not the same certificate because Michigan has theirs and Indiana has theirs. And also,
Same type of certificate.
okay, but also I'd like to, she mentioned something about putting the mowing fee on your taxes. Yeah, one of those were put on my taxes for $200, and I'm not sure when they did it because I have a service that does mine, so I don't know if do you send a bill out for that or?
You get the address to the city manager, and he can,
Yeah, because I like
Check
for
into
that,
it.
I like the credit for that because
Okay.
I know that I pay for that service and I don't have $200 just to give the city.
all right. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move
Wait,
on.
the Honorable Chair.
We're gonna move on.
I need to say, who does she answer to you?
We not,
No, the commissioner, I mean, but this consulting firm, as a
she
consulting firm,
answers-
do they answer to the commissioners? Do they have access based on what Commissioner Mary Alice said and what
Through the city
Kennard said?
manager.
But if she's a consultant could just be for the city manager, or the consultant could be for the city commission. You as the boss of the city manager would therefore also be the boss of the consultant, or is it different than that? That's what I just want for understanding, because that made me confused.
Rhonda.
What you just said.
The contract that we have with the city of Benton Harbor, Plant Moran, is with the city manager, and it's been written that way since I've been here. So that would have to be changed to have a different reporting structure, but that's how it's been written.
Thank you, Rhonda. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your report. Next, we have the city income tax.
Good afternoon. The report for the city income tax. In October, November of this year, my department, we have continued to finish preparing late individual and business tax returns, catch up on the annual reconciliation forms, and start some of the business compliance. To date, the office has processed 443 resident tax returns, 1,575 non-resident tax returns, and 594 corporate partnership and business tax returns. The income tax returns are due each year, April the 30th, which is always 15 days after the regular tax season ends. And just as a reminder, for residents, anyone that lives within the city limits of Benton Harbor is subjected to pay 1% of all income earned. And people that actually work in the city but does not live in the city is a 0.5%. As of today, we are caught up on all our refunds and tax returns, which is a blessing. And just to give some context, since a lot of people do have questions regarding the city income tax, as of right now, I'm the only person in the department trying to hire another person. And as I stated in the past, most of the other cities, well, not most, all of the other cities that have a city income tax has at least 2 or more people working in that department. And I also reached out to most of the cities that is similar to the city of Benton Harbor as far as population-wise. Everyone has more than one person that works in that department. Most of those cities don't even process their tax returns, it's outsourced. So for the Department of One, as of myself, I am truly doing the best I can in processing all the tax returns, making sure payments come in, and as well as starting compliance.
You're right there for a second. So you do all the tax returns?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
And process all the payments,
Okay,
open all the mail,
okay.
answer all the calls. And that's just for the city income tax. That's not including the other duties that I do perform in the city. For compliance, what I have started doing, I received information from Ibermarsh to get all the business contractors in the city of Benton Harbor, as well as in the Code Compliance Department for businesses that's located in the city limits. So I sent out letters just letting them know of our process, the law that they should be paying city income tax. So since that time frame to date, it has been an increase. From last month to this month, so far, and it's only, the 20th, it's been an increase in the withholdings of $276,699. It's been an increase in total deposits of $254,296.80. So it has been increased. If we get an additional person, I think that that increase will improve each month to make more money, revenue coming into the city of Benton Harbor. I also want to touch base regarding the confidentiality rule. I know that some commissioners have asked questions in regards of specific businesses, if they have paid city income tax. One of the meetings that we had, actually, we have like a quarterly meeting with the Michigan Income Tax Association. The last meeting we had was the last meeting was in September, but the meeting we had in June, they actually went over in great detail about the confidentiality rule and what can and cannot be shared with anyone in the city, as including upper management, and that was very specific. And one of the things that they stated, they gave us a summary, basically following the IRS publication 1075, which is basically a security guideline for federal, state, and local agencies that we have to abide by. So it's not that I don't want to give out information, I legally cannot give out information. In the past, and I do take confidentiality very seriously, so in the past, when Ms. Clerk Moore asked me questions, I at least was giving her yes or no. I was advised that I can't even do that. So what the issue is basically no information can be given out unless that person actually signed a release form. So I did submit a release form and I gave it to Clerk Moore as well as and our city manager Little in regards to any businesses or anything of the sort. They would actually have to sign a release form in order for me to give out any information regarding the city income tax.
Honorable Chair, does the business sign or the person signs?
Point of order, man.
Either or both. So anyone, regardless of whom, just say like if you ask a question regarding a specific business, that business would have to sign a release form stating that it's okay. And even if they sign a release form, it's only certain information I can disclose. You're welcome.
That answer your question, Dr. Time? Yes. You feel good?
That was really important. And you know who had to sign the release.
Ms. Felicia, you got anything? Okay. Commissioner Adams,
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
so you're recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Can you move the mic over there to get you?
Okay.
You talking about the city income tax?
I know exactly what we're talking about. I was here and helped to make the decision as to how it was gonna roll. As a matter of fact, I was the legislative chairperson that pushed it out, okay? And it's okay to some, yeah, let me toot my own horn there for a sec. Anyway, I appreciate what I have personally seen in this young woman right here. I've been down here since 2000. I joined the board in 2002, Brownfield Authority. And I think then Paw Building was open. I saw you bounced around like a ball. You love government and working with, and I like that. I've seen you strive to do this job. When we initially took on the endeavor of, I think it was a company out of Kalamazoo, no, Grand Rapids, that was supposed to help to train. But that was before you were in another position then. The position of the role that she's playing now with all these tasks that she's taken on is supposed to be the finance director per charter overseeing that office of the income tax to actually position and give her the proper training and help that she needs.
I don't think that's the way it works.
that is the way that it worked, and we have been having discussions about it for years now. Well, up until maybe last year. But no, the questions that were asked, though, I want to thank Ms. Galladay because she finally did, and I'm sure it was a hard task to have to go back to those that had not signed on with whomever they were working with to actually be able to draw those income tax, their 1%. You managed to do that. Is that retroactive? I mean, because we just gained 200-something thousand?
Well, the withholdings is not, because that's withholdings that they have from their employees. However, for the business to actually file the income tax, that is retroactive.
Okay.
You have to go back.
Okay, so it is retroactive, it's just like Cornerstone that oversaw the lead line endeavor. Those that may not have been registered, they did, okay, so Abbott Marsh, once again, is responsible and held accountable for that task, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, dear.
Thank you. Commissioner Kennard, can you make it up there?
Thank you, Ms. Galladay, for what you do. I know that it's not easy. But what I'd like to say also, that you came and sort of gave me a little idea and let me know that you were taking care of an end of what I had asked for, don't know how long, was if those that are working in the city of Benton Harbor, that's well so as a resident, have to pay into the city income tax. And I was told by Emma March, which is documented, that the contractors were not paying into the city income tax because they'd have to charge more. Now, these words exactly, you can follow the record and see that that was what said to me. And you came to me to clear that up. They are to pay the city income tax, but you are getting ready to send a letter out to reassure them that they are to pay into it. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's where we are here. We just want to know, and this city, I think, financially would run much smoother. The little girl that's flipping burgers that live in the city of Benton Harbor have to pay the city income tax. These that are making millions of dollars walk out and don't spend a dime in the city, don't pay into the city income tax. And then we're told that because of the water or some other thing around here from the residents, that's what's the problem with the city. But I think it's the business end of it that everyone pay their fair share. That was my problem. So that's where I am today, to want to know if these others that are working here making big money, are they paying their fair share? That's because all of us have to pay it. That's why I asked that, but thank you for doing your job.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennard. Dr. Times.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, question. So I think she addressed it, that there was confusion that contractors were thought that they were exempt from the city income tax. Is that what I'm hearing? And now they're made aware that they have to pay city income tax? Or is, if Adam Marsh is the company, that they're held liable for city income tax, but not the consultants or contractors that they use? Can you help me with that, sir?
Minister Galladay, can you speak on that?
So Area 1 is subjected to pay the city income tax. No one is excluded from that. As long as they are doing business in the city of Benton Harbor, they're subjected to the 1%.
May I ask? So, right, so the persons who working on the pipe or whatever, BD, whoever comes in, when you come in and they receive a check from a business in the city, that check is supposed to be taxed, no matter if you come from Kalamazoo or Traverse City, it doesn't matter. If you work in the city and get paid by someone in the city, then they're subject to the tax.
That's correct, when they file income tax. Correct.
Commissioner Griffin.
Okay, so through the chair for Ms. Galladay, Mrs. Galladay, right? So, you said that you sent out a letter recently telling the contractors or whoever that they have to pay. Was it just to remind them that they have to pay, or because they were not paying? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Kennard.
One more question. So if Ms. Hildebrand is working here in the city, who pays the city the tax, her or Plant Moran?
Both.
Because I know we paying in Plant Moran to do some of the work here too. Okay, thank you.
You, Commissioner Kennard. You can continue.
That concludes the city.
Personnel. Thank you, Rhonda.
For the personnel department, to date, continue focusing on the everyday administrative tasks of the Human Resource Department as far as employee relations, compliance, reporting, benefits, onboarding, risk management, workers' compensation. As of right now, we have a total number of employees of 63. We had one new hire this past month, and we currently have about 6 positions that's open. 4 is in the public safety department, as well as the finance director department, as well as a person for the HR and the income tax department. I don't think anything else has taken place this past month in human resources other than day-to-day.
Okay, I see you got this was a HR and city income tax specialist. That's the one position?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, okay. And that'll be able to help you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's on the website?
It was posted. We did conduct some interviews. We have one person that's pending hire.
Did get the new finance director resumes. I hope you looked at them, commissioners and citizen reps. So we will continue to look for a city manager. Finance director. Thank you. It was a recent batch of resumes that went out, so I want to make sure we. It was.
It was probably a little while back, but I'll resend like the last 6 months, a whole batch of the last 6 months.
Wasn't it last month that I did that?
It was either last month or the month before that the previous 6 months had went out. So we'll
You'll
resend
be-
a new
we-
6-month batch.
We'll be sending them out. I've been telling.
Yeah, because I think we just got in 3 new ones.
See, so and we'll make sure everybody get them. And
I just think that's a little odd.
okay,
Send somebody a resume of a professional looking for a job, 60 days, right?
thank you. Thank
They
you.
haven't found one yet.
Thank you for your suggestion.
Okay, got a person right there.
Dr. Times have a question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So is the under the Finance Department, Finance Director, the accountant technician, is that a new position or was that always there as well as the senior accountant? Just relating to what was said earlier.
The account technician position was always there. It was under the accounts payable / payroll clerk. We just kind of changed the name to account technician. However, the senior accountant was a new position. You're welcome.
Thank you. Great job. Keep up the good work. Next, we have
Honorable Chair.
we have
There's a pressing question in terms of finance, which was stated by the young lady from Plant Moran, in that you as commissioners, in terms of well, if y'all were going to consider to rewriting the agreement so that the Plant Moran is able to discuss with the commissioners. Right now, it's exclusively only a city manager. If, you know, and in terms of, I guess it would have to be with, you know, the will of the commission, whether they want access to that or not.
Thank you. Next, we have the city manager position. City Manager Little, because of Mr. Griffin is not here, could you just step out for a second? Thank you.
Oh, I can say something? Everybody froze. But I do have a
Something else right now. Too late. Too late, too little. For the city manager position,
Honorable Chair.
we moving on right now. For the
Right.
city manager position,
Honorable Chair.
I'm talking right now.
But I need you to
No,
tell me what, I
we,
can't understand your graph.
my graph.
Yes, the
It's
graph
not my
that we're going
graph,
to be
it's the
discussing.
clerk's graph. It's the, see, let me talk you into the graph, okay? Thank you. Okay. We have had 3 rounds of interviews with candidates for city manager. Point of order, please. Can we? I give everybody respect. Now, I don't. Thank you, Commissioner Kennard. We had 3 rounds of interviews. 1 with the full commission, 2 with the Personnel Finance Committee. And last commission meeting, we had an interview with both candidates. Scores was tallied. And that's the sheet that you're talking about. Scores was tallied by each commission, filled out a form, score sheet, and any words they wanted to say, and the tallies came up to W. Griffin. Tally came out to score a 3.22, which is 64%. And for A. Little, 3.53%, which came out to 71%. And that was a total score from the commission. And so the recommendation coming from the Personnel and Finance Committee, the highest score, A. Little, at 71%. So we're gonna recommend that we offer the position to Director Alexander Little with the highest percentage. It was a close score, but the commission have spoken. Go ahead. And that's the score. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, Honorable Chair, what I'm looking at is, I'm thinking it's not, I'm looking at, I guess it's 9 individuals, and then, and when it goes down to interview questions, I guess then that means it's based on what they gave the interviewee, that part. And the questions, did the questions also involve previous hires or fires? And in terms of professionalism, in that way, seeing that the number one candidate had 3 episodes of firing twice as city manager, one for dollar
No
ride.
order. We talking about now.
Well, no, I'm
We
just
talking about the-
understanding in terms of credibility, you,
I can't tell what everybody put down. I don't know what people wrote.
no, I'm asking, in the questioning process, was those issues addressed? Because I was not there in the interview in process of the hiring and firing, because y'all made a big issue of hiring and firing with the previous city managers, and you had twice fired as city manager, once fired dollar ride, and then the professionalism that was
Where the-
mentioned by the city commissioners were, he was not understanding that he
Well,
was
the
the
tally
employee.
is in, and you
Okay.
see it on the score sheet.
And the
Okay.
allegation of the
So
30,000.
everybody know what happened, and the tally is in.
Okay.
Next question, please.
All right, so if they all knew that the 30,000 raise.
Anything you want to say, Felicia? No, you can. No, you, Felicia, you can go ahead. You probably. Okay, go ahead,
I know you
Commissioner.
probably wish you knew it. Okay, but
No.
anyway, I just want to know why this process did not take place publicly when those slips were handed in at the last city council meeting. Publicly, tallied up and called out at the meeting Monday.
Well, we followed the
And not
process.
only that, I just want it to be duly noted that some people, we just got one, and you're about to feel the brunt of it locally now, even more so, if you just only knew. Need to start attending some more meetings other than these. I think it's coming from Washington. You saw nothing yet.
Thank you. Go ahead. This is public comments now, so
Who you talking to?
it's public comments. You can go ahead and say what you
Oh,
want to say.
okay, because I know.
Than you, but I'm telling everybody, yeah.
Oh, because you just said it when I came up, because I know that. So I really think this is insane. Mr. Little has worked for the city 4 times, been fired to my knowledge twice, sued the city twice, $250,000. Why getting a year, why he, in addition, he got a year's servant's pay? So he double dipped. And now we're taking this is a liability, I believe. Now we're taking a chance again. What happens again if he does not work out? And he sues the city again? So we're just wasting taxpayer money to me. We're just giving it away. We're giving it away. Also, I do not trust, as I said Monday night, I do not trust this process because I know for a fact the mayor was calling, trying to sway the votes for Mr. Little, and one of them was you, the chair of Personnel and Finance. So I do not trust this, and I don't even think it's legal because I know the mayor violated the Public Meeting Act when he did that. Thank you.
Since Mr. Little was selected as the city manager, I wanted to ask him a question. In his interview, he stated that Benton Harbor is landlocked, which it is. He also stated that Benton Township has water, they have land, we have water, and he stated that he was going to lease water to this Benton Township. And I'm not understanding that because when I was with the city, Benton Township has their own water plant, and that caused a great problem for Benton Harbor financially when they did that. So when he said that, I was just a little bit unsure why he would make that statement. And I also like to know if you all would disclose to the public how each and every one of you voted, because people voted for you. So we need to know how you made your decision, how you came to that conclusion on how and why you would hire and who you hired. Because like I said, you all are responsible to the citizens. Each citizen voted for you.
Thank you.
And the person that you chose, neither one can vote for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Kennard, Commissioner Kennard.
It's okay. I'm Miss Gennard first before I became commissioner, so I answered. One of the things that I want to bring to your attention, and I had came to commissioners, and they made themselves absent when it come to voting, for me even being over at the Dollar Ride. And I want to say that I came and begged you all because I knew some things was going wrong over there, and nobody paid me any attention. I'm bringing it to your attention that we voted unanimously at Dollar Ride to let Mr. Mitchell go, Mr. Little go, because Mr. Little has a problem of following instructions or answering to the board. He gave himself a $30,000 raise, $30,000, and he hadn't been there hardly a year. And he didn't want to come and conversate with us because we were letting him know that it was wrong. And he said he wouldn't talk to us unless he knew exactly what we were going to ask about. So then he has a problem with having superiority over his power. So what I'm looking at now, this man is a narcissist. For one thing, he don't want to be accountable. Whatever he says or does, he feels like you should follow his direction. And I know it's not just me seeing that. It's others have seen them. He wants to run everything and get paid for it.
Thank you, Ms.
So you never know how much damage is being done behind our backs. And we got some that's so willing to follow it. And they know they're wrong. So you got to follow this here, that this man gonna give himself a $30,000 raise without coming before the board.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard.
It's wrong, and you know it's wrong.
Thank you, Ms. Kennard.
No, you're not
Commissioner.
thanking me, just going along with it.
Mayor, you got anything you want to comment? Go ahead.
I know Mr. Little was holding the position of Community Development Director and Economic Development also in the interim. So will those two positions now be open?
Perhaps say yes.
I'm not supposed to ask.
No, that's what we're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, well, I'm
Yes,
asking.
yes, part of economic development, yes.
What about community development?
That's what I'm saying, economic community development.
Both positions will now be open?
It's one position.
How is it one and
You
it's two
talking about
different
economic and
departments?
development?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Economic, you don't have an economic development director and a community development director? Oh, you have one position, so now those will be open since he's hired as city manager?
That's one position.
Okay, will that one position
Yes.
now be open?
Yes.
And will you post it, or is it only
Yes.
internal?
Yes, it will be posted.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
and I asked you about the results, will we get to see that, the
As
public?
soon as we can, yes.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Mayor,
Yeah, my first recommendation, I think that the committee meetings should run or mirror the city council meetings, where there's a space for public comment and the business to be discussed by the committee separately, where the public have their opportunity to speak, which is in line with the Open Meetings Act, but the agenda items should be relegated to the committee to be discussed and then move forward to the city council as a whole. And I would also recommend that the timer, as with the city commission meetings where, there's just some order and regulation of who can speak, they should sign in, and they should be called by the city clerk where that way we have everything documented, everything is in order and in decency. Not that it's not, so I'm not being critical, but it's just a observation and a recommendation. In terms of the city charter, the city manager not only serves as the personnel director, but he is the chief administrative executive for the city. So in the event that Public Works, Economic Development, if there's a vacancy, then per charter, the city manager steps in to fill that void. So right now, we do not have a Public Works director, so the city manager is in that role. And since he was put in the interim position as the city manager, then he also still acts in the role as the Economic Development Director. So it's all documented, it's all according to the city charter. It's nothing illegal taking place. We just received a clean bill of health from HUD of the activity and the work that's being done in the Economic Development Department. So if there were red flags, if there were violations and citations, HUD would be here, as they have been in the past, to cite and violate the city of Benton Harbor for things that was not being done correctly. As far as the scoring process, it was done publicly, and each individual commissioner filled out the score sheet, and the scores have been given. So that's the democratic process. Each commissioner, as well as the mayor, is elected by the people. Each one of us are elected by the people. So we have a voice and we have a vote, and it was exercised. Thank you.
Thank you. Since you're here, City Manager, Mr. Little, you have,
I was really looking for the other candidate to get in for some fresh start and new ideas, but the commission had voted for the other candidate. I'm just disappointed.
so the commission has spoken, and you scored higher. And so the recommendation come from the Personnel and Finance Committee with the tally of scores. Mr. Little, you will be offered the job of city manager for the city of Benton Harbor. Okay.
I'm still asking my question.
I see.
So, y'all did a tally. So, with the next commission meeting, will the results be published for the meeting?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
My question is about the hotel, Harbor Towers, and what have we gathered to do about it? Any information is better than no information.
City manager, you speak on that.
Certainly, sir. The Housing Commission has undertaken and hired a consultant firm to work with them to develop a package for a RAD, where a private developer comes in and works with them to rehabilitate these properties. I just last week completed an environmental review for them using the HUD regulations and guidelines and our HEROES package. And they are proceeding to get prepared to do that. I believe they're looking at spending about $32 million on Bus Avenue projects and around 17 to 20 million across the street here at Harbor Towers.
Honorable Mayor.
Yes, and I'd just like to add that the current occupants of Harbor Towers will be placed in hotels. And from what I've learned, that the renovations will be a total makeover.
Good.
So, and there may be some changes as far as the requirements. It may be changed to a senior 55 and over, and the I'm gonna be very careful. The residency requirements could change. I'll just put it like that. And I did notify Congressman Heisinger, who was very pleased, who we took a tour with him of Howard Towers from top to bottom, and he was happy that the needle is moving. And he said he's going to keep his foot on the gas to make sure that the project is seen through. Thank you.
What's the ETA of completion?
There's no specific time frame at this point on it.
Right, meeting adjourned.